Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, back here in the saddle on Monday to get things going, to look back at the news of the past 72 hours. It's our good friend, Michael Wiseman. Michael, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Happy Monday. I am on your YouTube. I am in your house today, Nick.
Oh, that's true. Wow. Wait, you're in my house?
Yeah. I'm vaccinated. It's okay. I got my vaccination shot.
I just want to know where. I mean, it's like not a huge place. Like, I feel like we'd notice you.
It's a closet. You have the closet with all your WWE belts and
yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
this
cool.
giant closet that looks like an office. Yeah, that one.
I'll figure it out later, I guess. I hope. Okay. Well, we got a great show for everybody here today. We are going to talk all the news, like I said, the past 72 hours. The chat room is open. We are live over on YouTube and all the Wrestling Inc. social media channels. If you want to jump on in, join the chat, talk with us, let us know what you think about the various topics as we go along here today. Talk with other wrestling fans. We'll pull your comments up onto the screen here. We'll chat about them as well. If you're listening to us in audio form, later today, after the news, you are going to hear part one of my interview with Barry Horowitz. Mr. Technical is in the house here today. I don't know if we're going to do part two tomorrow or later this week because we have some other things happening this afternoon. But Barry, part two will air this week, and you're going to get part one here today. And I want to warn everybody, there is profanity. There is foul language in this Barry Horowitz interview. Barry gets very hot pretty quick, and I think you'll find it all very insightful and entertaining. But just so you know, I have not bleeped anything. And if you want to watch me and Barry have this conversation, or part one of this conversation, we're going to debut that here 1 Eastern today over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. So just under an hour if you're watching us live here. All right. And then, of course, later we'll dive in the mailbag. We're going to discuss one of the hottest topics in pro wrestling in the mailbag today. What do you think of Otis's new shaved look over on SmackDown? But let's move here without further ado to news you can use. News will leave a bruise. We'll start with TakeOver last night. There was LA Knight defeating Cameron Grimes for $1 million championship. And then no other title changes happened on the show. And it ended with some chaos with the women and the men and William Regal throwing his hands up and saying changes could be on the horizon. What'd you think of TakeOver last night, Michael?
I thought it was a very perfunctory show. And what I mean by that is it was a good show. It was an enjoyable way to spend 2.5 hours. But I don't know that it will be remembered much beyond the immediate moment of watching it, right? Like no major title changes, like you said. The action was solid, but none of them were like, I'll think about this match for years to come, right? So top to bottom, an enjoyable show. The ending tease was perhaps the most interesting thing with William Regal and all of that, kind of setting up something maybe different in the future for NXT. But it kind of captured for me where NXT has been in the last year or so, which is just you show up and you watch it and it's good, but it's not making waves like it did maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, there was a kind of bite missing, I felt, last night, a surprise factor that was going on last night. Just to kind of real quickly touch on the only title change or title crowning that happened with the $1 million title, I was a little surprised they didn't go with Grimes. Like, it just seemed like the character was built for this moment. LA Knight, I guess, is the baby face, or is he a heel? But the audience was flat, man. Like, He was sitting on top of that ladder, and I didn't really know how to feel about LA Knight taking this title.
It's interesting. I mean, Grimes took some. I mean, they both men put themselves through some stuff, but that one bump Grimes took off the ladder, he earned some respect in my book just because that thing was a brutal. That ladder buckled, it broke. But both these guys put on a hell of a show in this match. I think when you saw LA Knight grab the belt and he had the belt with him and that $1 million look, like Eli Drake, LA Knight, whatever you want to call him, he looks fantastic with that championship. And I think that's what they saw was this guy has a $1 million look. We should give him $1 million title. But I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about him as a character or even Grimes as a character because it is, to your point, kind of ambiguous, right?
Yeah, 100%. I really don't. And I just wanted to see Grimes get the title. Like, it's just so entertaining, like Braddock here saying great ladder match, but I want Cameron Grimes to win the NXT $1 million championship. And I want that too, Braddock. And Samantha here bringing up a good point. Give Grimes the chase until they get bigger live crowds. I'm with you. I'm hopeful that this is temporary and that Grimes will eventually take this title from LA Knight. That I am somewhat interested in.
Do you think, I mean, this seems like there's a fan response. I look at Grimes, I think he's doing a hell of a job, but something about his persona speaks very gimmicky to me right now. Like he's not evolved to a main event player yet. Do you think that if the fans get behind him, is there a future where he is at the top of these NXT cards?
Who, Grimes?
Yes.
Oh man, I'm surprised that their whole, I mean, like, this is definitely something where I kind of applaud Triple H for sticking with the players he's got and trying to make the main event as compelling as he can. Grimes is like quickly becoming one of the most engaging characters for me in NXT. I don't know if I put the title on him, but if they put Grimes out there in a title match against Cross one night and they gave him the chance, I wouldn't see him out of place, at this point.
Okay.
So no, I mean, I'm a big Grimes fan.
You're saying that he is the guy to conquer Karrion Kross is what I heard.
Yeah, I mean, maybe down the road. I look, I hope he does chase this thing down. I hope he does get it back. I'm seeing more here, but like, that's the thing. And so Gino here saying you need a face chasing the title. So it makes sense for Knight to win. So again, is Knight the heel and Grimes is the baby face? Is that going to become more delineated here? I hope in the coming weeks.
It could be. I mean, Knight does kind of have that arrogance about him, that swagger. Grimes is very much of the people. Does Knight kind of represent the big banks as Grimes represents the Wall Street bets crowd and the people? Like, that could work, right? He is kind of going after this.
Oh man, I'm going to short your title reign, right? Something like that. Oh.
Grimes is the reason WWE stock skyrocketed for one day last week, right?
I just love the idea of like LA Knight up in his like penthouse and he's dumping, get a job. Here's a bunch of McDonald's applications, go straight, War on Wall Street type stuff there.
That's right. The hedge funds. He represents the hedge funds, right? Let's get into it.
Well, okay. Maybe I haven't flushed it out enough in my head yet. Now I'm kind of excited. So the tease here. So William Regal makes his tease at the end. That, by the way, anything else from any of the match you want to touch on, or should we just get to the tease and stuff?
I enjoyed the main event a lot. It was a lot of rapid fire stuff, but yeah, nothing else that stood out to me.
Okay, all right. So anyway, to the tease, right? To the tease. William Regal, chaos. He's been 8 years, 7-8 years. He's been here as the GM, right? And something's going to change now. First, on the post-show presser call, on the media call, Hunter was asked about if Regal was going to be leaving NXT, right? And he said, no, Regal will be with NXT as long as he wants to be with NXT. Really kind of doubled down on the idea that Regal's not going anywhere here. But a lot of people wondering what this change could be, and that leads us to a pair of reports that came from Fightful. First of all, saying that NXT officials are interested in bringing Samoa Joe back to the company. Multiple NXT wrestlers and staff members say that they heard NXT officials, not anyone specific, but they have been interested in bringing Joe back in. There have been pushes within WWE to bring back some of the recently released talents. Joe is one of them. Joe was reportedly at the Performance Center last week. And while talent in NXT are heavily speculating on a return for Joe, some believe that it is really going to happen. And this sounds a lot like what happened with Zelina Vega. We have no idea what's going on with Zelina Vega, right? Her husband just left. Not a great sign. But do you want to see Samoa Joe back in NXT?
I would love to see Samoa Joe back in NXT. He seems like the guy, if you're going to pull up Cross to the main roster, which I know lots of people are anticipating and expecting, Joe's the guy that brings Cross down. In my mind, he's that kind of beast to take down a monster like Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
But I don't like this rumor that Joe could be the next GM. That's the other rumor, is he's going to replace Regal. Kudos to Regal. WWE stuck with him in this role for so long, and I'm so glad they did. Hell of a performance, crying last night, delivering that moment. But I just don't want to see Samoa Joe as his replacement. I don't like it.
Well, and that's the thing. Joseph Venditti saying Samoa Joe, the next GM. We also have here Braddock saying he wants to see Shane McMahon as the next GM. I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't want to see Regal go away as GM, right? Sure. I like Regal in this role. I think he's great in this role. Time for a change. Like, what does that mean? Is Samoa Joe involved in this tease? Like, the two things I don't know that are related. A lot of people jumping into the speculation that these two things are related. Samoa Joe, big NXT tease. I'm not totally sold on that. I don't know.
I could see it both ways, right? I mean, it's kind of up to Joe. Does Joe still have that itch? I mean, he's been on commentary for a while, kind of been out of the ring, been enjoying the life of a non-wrestling performer. He could do it. He would be a great fit for it. But as a fan, Joe, as a wrestler, has much more of an appeal to me, and I think he adds something to that roster that it's missing right now.
Yeah, I agree. And Pollo Del Mar Paul Pratt here joins me on Thursday. Samoa Joe is the guy to take Cross's belt. Joe back in an NXT ring is money. And I think we both agree with that, right? Like less compelled by Samoa Joe moving into an authority role, more compelled by I'm going to drop this catfish in the barrel and watch everything kind of swim around, right?
Sure. Yes. And then you look at Joe's options out there too. And every business decision is a personal one, right? Do you want to go do that? Do you want to go do this? What gives you the most satisfaction, the most money, whatever, right? And I think Joe has a lot of options on the tables. He would be a great fit for AEW. He'd be a great fit to go back in Ring of Honor. Let's have this dream match of him and Punk one more time in the smallest venue possible. I love it. But it's up to Joe. Does he want more of the money? Does he want more of the level of NXT and the competition there? He can cherry pick what he wants to do, and that's what's incredible. So whatever he ends up doing, I think that's what's best for Joe at that point, right?
So I again, going back to how I think these two things are separate, right? Looking at how the show ended last night, Karrion Kross standing tall over anyone that could be within a 10-foot clown stick of his title, right? They have all been laid to waste by Karrion Kross. It is time for somebody new to step up. Samoa Joe does make a lot of sense to me as that guy to do that this Tuesday night. So what is this tease then? Like, what could this other thing be? If it like bringing Joe back to challenge Kross doesn't seem to solve William Regal's problem of everything being in complete chaos. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think outside the box here of like what else that could mean, you know?
Unless it's William Regal brings back Joe to kind of be an enforcer for NXT in general, right? Like things have gotten out of control in NXT because Kross is at the top and everybody's kind of going crazy. If Joe just comes in and starts wiping some MFers out, right? Like at that point, Joe maybe acting as the hand of William Regal, not that he needs to, but as an enforcing role, he can kind of get things back in line and William Regal is exerting his authority. I think that could work. I was really disappointed we didn't see, maybe the paperwork wasn't signed yet. Joe popping up at the end of last night's show would have set a different tone for it. Karrion Kross won with that phenomenal sleeper hold, right? And then you get Joe coming out there slapping a coquina clutch on this dude. I mean, it sets like it tells the story for you, but maybe that's not the direction they're going. But Joe could still show up on Tuesday as an enforcer for William Regal, still go after the title, still play that story out in its own unique fashion.
Well, we also, speaking of enforcers, Phil here saying Regal could bring in Diamond Mine, right? Maybe this group of young talents looking to establish themselves, maybe working as muscle for William Regal. Sure.
I like it.
Consider me hooked. All right. Well, some of the most interesting stuff that happened last night didn't even really happen in regards to storyline or news around NXT. It really, like, Braun Strowman tweeted during and after NXT, and it generated, I think, more traffic for the site than maybe the actual NXT event last night, believe it or not. So Strowman had some interesting tweets during and after last night's NXT TakeOver. He had tweeted rent-free earlier in the night, which led fans to speculate on what had the monster among men so upset. Some fans felt like it was people saying AEW should not sign him. I don't understand that. The rent-free tweet led to some fans taunting Strowman. One fan made a comment about NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez, who retained her title over Ember Moon last night, and I guess is his real-life girlfriend. And this is all news. I had no idea. Did you know this?
No, did not.
I did not know that Braun Strowman and Raquel Gonzalez were an item. But anyway, take that bit of trivia for what you want. So I'm going to try to clean these up the best I can because some of these are graphic. The fan wrote, though, your pecs are bigger than her eyes. Strowman wrote back, and her D word is bigger than your P word. The fan deleted his tweet.
Man and women genitalia fans, keep up with us here.
Genitalia. Okay, got it. The fan deleted their tweet, apparently deactivated their account, and Strowman then posted a screenshot, added a caption with the screenshot, and said, "Don't come on my page trying to throw shade, then delete your post like a baby back biznatch. Hashtag baby D-word boy." Gonzalez then responded to the screenshot with 4 laughing emojis, so she found this quite funny. Strowman then had an exchange with Karrion Kross, because, you know, as you want to do. A fan tweeted Strowman commenting on wanting to see Strowman Kross. Strowman replied, "I'd love to fight him, but I'll say this once, time stands still when I want it to." Kross then responded to Strowman with a gif and wrote, "Monster among men. You and I trying to annihilate each other is inevitable. I'll be looking forward to it and always preparing." Strowman ended the exchange by saying, "Meet me in Valhalla. We'll fight for the gods. Hashtag Titans."
Wow. There's
Braun.
lots to unpack in there.
Oh yeah, Braun getting into it with Cross, defending his girlfriend.
Defending his girlfriend is one thing. Living rent free in our heads or whatever else is fine. It's a little bit like this dude's in the job market right now, and so going this hard after a fan seems a little bit juvenile as literally the bigger man here. I just don't understand why he would do that. I get it. He's defending his girlfriend and whatever else, but just ignore this jackleg, right? It's like not worth this level of controversy. But the Karrion Kross tease, now that's something that is fascinating that he would do it, and then Kross would kind of play back with him and maybe tease a possible Titan matchup here.
So here's the thing about Braun while we're talking about his social media stuff. Okay. Have you seen Braun and all these? He did the baby tiger thing and then he did the elephant thing over the week. Did you see the elephant thing?
No, what's the elephant thing?
So there's this man. Can I do screen share here right now?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. I can, can't I? All right, 1 second. I'm gonna bring this up for everybody right now. Braun Strowman elephant Instagram, I think, is what it is. Oh, this is all new technology, people. We're doing this. We're doing this live. Never done
way
this
of the future.
Way of the future. Okay, here it is. I've got. Oh wait, I don't want to log in.
So wait, is Braun Strowman the kind of person who is more controversial on Instagram than he is Twitter? Because that's where his controversial tweet last year during the pandemic came out as well. Was his Instagram post, right? Never had a handout or whatever.
All right, I'm having trouble here. Let me see if I can do this. All right, whatever. All right. So anyway, let me see if I can find this. Let me just find the image of it here real quick. This is going great.
Live TV, people, we can do it.
Okay, wait.
Oh wait, I see it. Okay, let me. I'm. Can I share this?
Can you share it or no?
I think I can share it. Yes. Let me share my screen.
Okay, cool.
I got this right here.
This is Instagram.
This is his Instagram.
Okay.
Okay, you got to add it to the show now.
Okay. Oh, I got to add it to the screen. Okay, so here's.
There we go. Yep.
So can you click on the photo and make the elephant photo bigger?
Yes. There you go.
Okay. So here's the thing. So this is at the Myrtle Beach Sanctuary, I believe it's called. 1 second. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah. Myrtle Beach. It is the Myrtle Beach Safari. Okay. And he shared this photo with the baby tiger the other day. And on Friday, I was like, dude, that's really weird. Did you not see Tiger King? Right. Like, you know what happens with the baby tigers and stuff? It's like a real rough racket. Okay. So did you see Tiger King? Of course you did, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, there's like Joe Exotic, right? And then there's Doc Antley guy, right? Who's like married to all those women and like has his own thing and is like the opposite end of that. This is his sanctuary. I think that's him in the water with the elephant. Like, if you could zoom in on it, like the last photo was from the Myrtle Beach one, and then like I don't know that you can zoom in on it. Okay, what is? Oh, it's him and Mojo showering. What a classic Instagram page.
Yes, this tiger one right here. Yes, okay.
Okay, so he tags this one from the Myrtle Beach Safari. That's Doc Antilles or whatever safari place. I have to believe that the only crazy person that's letting Braun Strowman roll around with tigers and elephants is this Doc Antley guy. And so nobody's talking about this. I don't understand. I'm like, dude, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Myrtle
Beach. This is wild.
Story. Yeah, look, there's the
there
elephant.
He is.
There's the elephant, man.
Oh my goodness.
There's your Tiger King Braun Strowman connection, by the way, people. Yeah, and he's got all the animals, right?
Oh my gosh.
This is what I do, people. I just look into this stuff all day. Right, back
this is your job, right? For what it's worth, I don't even follow Braun Strowman on Instagram, so.
Okay. Oh shit, Michael, come back. I dropped Michael accidentally. Come back in, Michael. Sorry. Well, Michael's gone. You'll be right back in. Okay, here he comes.
There we go. The way of the future. We got it.
I thought I was dropping the screen share. Okay, anyway. Well, that was fun. That was fun what we did there. We're off into the rant. If you like that, thumbs up. If you didn't like that, make a mean face or whatever.
So what is this dude is just like? Braun Strowman is just literally like living out his Tiger King fantasy. He's trolling people online. And he's going to sign with AEW, is what people are telling me on the social medias.
Well, no, that's not exactly completely true. We'll get to who we think is possibly signing with AEW. Real quick on the Braun stuff. We are finished up our Braun block. PWInsider.com reporting that Braun Strowman's manager Nick Anticelli has quoted $20,000 to $25,000 for a 3-hour appearance. This has been quoted to multiple indie promoters that have reached out with interest in booking the monster among men. Strowman's manager is also asking for first-class airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, plus all meals and ground transportation to be covered. Sounds like a Wheel of Fortune prize package is what it sounds like the man wants. You know,
It's true. It's true.
it's a lot of, dude, but here's the indie promoters. Okay, so let's say you even do $500 for a 5-minute meet and greet. You get the Saudi title and the trophy right in the shot with you. Really brawn it up there. I mean, what, 12 times, or you get 30 times 50 or 30 times 5, that's 1,500. No, 15,000. So you'd have to do that to make your money back. And are you going to have 90 people that want to pay $500 to get a photo with Braun, and maybe he goes in the ring and raises his hand? I don't know. You know?
Well, the thing about these negotiations too is every talent starts with their ask, and you should absolutely ask for the moon if you have that luxury, right? But it also doesn't mean that Braun would actually get all of these things, right? Okay, well, we'll give you the money, but we're not going to give you the first class airfare. Okay, we're not going to pay for your food, but so there are some nuance to these conversations that we're leaving out as far as just looking at the numbers, right? That the fans are leaving out, but he's asking a lot. And I think to your point, how does a promoter who doesn't bring in, like, wrestling shows don't bring in a lot of money, y'all. How does a promoter justify that? They've got to have meet and greets, because meet and greets is where people make money. Just paying this dude to show up and squash your champion and tease a match is not going to do it, because you're not going to see that return on tickets, I would guess, unless you are a major indie promotion. So I see this much more playing off for like conventions, as people do fan fests and things like that. Promoters might be able to do a little bit more with this rather than a wrestling show on a Saturday night.
All right, I'm going to read one more comment here about Braun, and then we're going to move on. Noob & Co. If you thought Braun Strowman's social media weird, try Asuka's social media game. It's weirder than ever, because she posted pics of her face on Batista's body, which I'm okay, I'm guessing, with, but it's weird. Yeah, that is pretty weird.
Asuka's social media presence is genius. She's out there, like, when during COVID, she was showing all the COVID restrictions while she was traveling and eating. Like, it's just her. It's just like her quirkiness. It's not her being a jackass. Anyway, I don't want to.
All right, well, talking about these releases here, the Observer saying wrestlers who have been released from WWE contracts reportedly no longer allowed to sign their superstar ring names at autograph sessions. Now, this rule is understandable. Most wrestlers begin using their new ring names anyway, or old names from pre-WWE careers, as soon as they're released on social media or for booking. So I don't know if this is standard out. I don't know if, like, Robert Downey Jr. can sign, Iron Man on Iron. Can he?
I don't know. It's weird. It's because it's a character that's separate of him, right? Is Marvel actually going to sue Robert Downey Jr. for putting Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man? Maybe if he puts it in quotes, right? Like,
yeah, sure. Or makes an IR, but they're capital IR, and then the rest is lowercase, and just kind of messes with it a little bit.
Right. Instead of it being Tony Stark, it's Tony Stork. Yeah.
Yes.
Looks just similar enough that we can't call it.
So I don't know what they can and can't sign things as, but when it comes to what they can sign on their contracts, I guess that's their legal names. And it looks like the Observer saying Aleister Black, the former superstar, now Tommy End, he's expected to sign with AEW. Signing with AEW is not a done deal, but the strong belief is that he will be signing with AEW. And unless WWE, because we heard rumors, just like Joe, that he could be coming back, unless they can make him an offer and retain him. I mean, why wouldn't the guy go over there? He's a natural fit. That dark kind of broodiness, they love that over there.
Well, and they'll do something with it. They'll give him a spotlight to work with, right? It's like our conversation last week. AEW is great at taking talent that were underutilized or not fully developed on the main roster and making it their own great thing. I mean, you look at the success that Miro is having right now and saying, hey, I want a piece of that. He's being spotlighted in the main event of Dynamite every week as a champion in a big way. He looks like he is a monster. He's being portrayed like a monster, getting time to work. And I think somebody like Tommy End, he would be such a great fit there, because he's dark brooding character, but dynamic wrestler who can go, right? This dude has the work ethic inside the ring.
Yeah, I agree. And man, every time I see photos of him and Darby and Sting together, like memes that fans put together, I'm like, AEW, they love them stables, right? Right. Darby Allin is, a younger brother to Tommy End and Dad Sting, right? The whole brood over there.
I kind of like the idea, though. I know it's not in the rumor mill, but like I would love to see Aleister Black, Tommy End up even in New Japan, because one of the things I appreciate about New Japan is they build up this mythos around characters for like their entrances or whatever else, but then they go to wrestle and it's just like they're just freaking wrestling, dude, right? It's just strong style, and I think he could fit in really well over there with I got the entrance, but in the ring I'm just going to kick your ass.
And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but I feel like very distanced, in some ways when we talk about like New Japan or like the rest of the world, because like, we're very lucky and fortunate here in the States to kind of have everything under control.
Sure.
You could just like kind of spitballing like how great it would be to see Tommy in a New Japan. Like, I don't know realistically when that could even happen. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just like, is that even an option right now? I don't know.
It's true. Dream World booking, it would be great, but yeah, it's just a different world over there right now, unfortunately. Although vaccines are being approved, so hopefully brighter days are ahead.
All right. Moving back here we have a little bit more AEW news we'll get to here in just a little bit, but real quickly, looking at Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. That is official now for Inside Hell in a Cell. I'm sure you've all seen it on GIF repeat. Roman Reigns nearly murdered Dominic, right? Powerbombed him straight out of the ring. I thought it was a great way to get heat on him and keep him rolling. This is the one pay-per-view before fans come back. And if you're going to do one more big name to kind of put the notch on the belt for Roman Reigns and, really get some heat on him, murdering Rey Mysterio in Hell in a Cell, that is quite a way to do it. I really don't have any complaints.
Like we said, easy story to build there with Dominic doing a great job of that. But this guy comes back to SummerSlam, whoever he ends up facing, right? Rumors being what they are with big names out there. But this dude holds up Rey Mysterio's mask. He's got, Cesaro as the guy he's conquered. Oh, you guys he can just go down the list. Kevin Owens was a fan favorite. None of your fan favorites stand up to me. This story is phenomenal. And a guy like Mysterio, a legend, just adds to this mystique. So we're not building for Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell will be what it will be. We're building for that SummerSlam event where this guy's carrying the bodies of all of those veterans and all of those baby faces before him that now the new guy's trying to really stand up for and kind of atone for their sins, right? So it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree. And on that note, as we say, we're building to SummerSlam, building to being on the road. PWInsider.com reporting Sean Daivari. He's returned to work for WWE as a producer. Currently backstage. He was backstage at SmackDown on Fox to work as a producer. His returning to work for WWE is interesting, as he just worked last week's NWA TV and pay-per-view tapings as one of the producers. With WWE preparing for a return to touring next month, there's been a push within the company to add more producers back as a way to alleviate the workload across the board. We have noted before that there's been talk of adding female producers to the crew. Yay. And that 2021 WWE Hall of Famer Molly Holly is in the middle of an ongoing tryout. Also, yay. Daivari previously worked as a WWE producer, hired in January 2019. He was released in 2020, along with a lot of other people for budget cut reasons, heading into the pandemic. And there you go. Producers coming back. Daivari's back. Molly Holly could very well be backstage. I'm heartened and happy and somewhat kind of excited to hear all this right now.
I love this news juxtaposed with some of the other worser news with people getting let go. I love this news independently of that, but it tells you about where their head is right now, right? They kind of let some of the corporate office staff go, some of the production people go a few months ago, and they're filling some of these spots now with ring producers, wrestling producers, because they are getting prepared to go back out there in the big way. And I think you're going to see the return on money here. I'm not saying that those other jobs weren't valuable. They absolutely were, right? But getting producers in there to get unique matchups and getting back in front of fans, to me, that's the lifeblood of the pro wrestling industry. Big money TV deals need to happen, but I'm excited that this is going to hopefully refocus this product in some key ways.
You had to pile that back of house. You had to build a big mountain of back of house people to keep the ship going here.
Sure.
During the pandemic. Now that everything is kind of flattening out, other departments getting more attention, the budget's kind of being moved around. I think it's a really good observation. And again, yay, Molly Holly.
Yes,
as a producer, right? I'm a big Daivari fan too. Very nice guy. Always enjoyed being around Sean. Wonderful guy. But yay, Molly Holly. She's the kind of person I want backstage, who I know is going to speak her mind and say when she sees things that may not be right. Like, I'm excited to hear that.
She will speak her mind, but she's also very she's nice about it, right? There's a way to like have that conversation and challenge people without being difficult. And I think she has that personality to nail that really fine line. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Nathan Rita agrees. He just says,
cool,
man. Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah. As we're looking even further down the rabbit hole here of the return to touring for WWE, the Observer saying that WWE currently also has tickets on sale for shows and other host cities, including Ohio, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Missouri, Wisconsin, Florida, Michigan, North Carolina. Tickets for most of the WWE shows, honestly, they haven't been selling well. In terms of tickets sold per show, WWE is currently behind AEW. Now, it should be noted that all of AEW's upcoming events are TV tapings, while 9 of the upcoming WWE shows with tickets on sale are house shows. Outside of the July 16th weekend, the Observer said that the August 2nd Raw taping here in Chicago has been selling fine. Not surprised by that. Over 6,000 tickets sold. An upcoming WWE live event in Pittsburgh and a San Antonio Raw taping have also been doing decent numbers. The rest of the tour has not seen good, with many of the shows selling under 2,000 tickets so far. Ticket sales in some markets are said to be, quote, scary bad. Not a great description. WWE and AEW, they're both going to run events in Dallas, Charlotte, Jacksonville, and Miami. WWE way ahead of AEW in Dallas. However, AEW is ahead of WWE in Miami and Charlotte. And while AEW is ahead of WWE in Miami, both companies weren't doing well in that market. AEW is about even with ticket sales from where they were before the pandemic, while WWE is down. In the first quarter of 2020 before the pandemic, WWE averaged 6,300 fans per shows, and they are currently at under half of that number. I'm going to start with you, Mike. I obviously have some takeaways, and please join us in the comment section here. Let us know your takeaways specifically on what is happening here. But, Michael, what do you make from all of this about the live event ticket sales?
I'm going to speak very personally here for a second as a North Carolinian and as somebody who has been to shows, indie shows across the state, but also WWE shows in Greensboro and Raleigh and Charlotte in recent years. And what I will say is I think WWE ignored this market for a long time. We are Southern Wrestling. They ran shows at UNCG. They brought back StarCast in Greensboro, I should say. And it did pretty well there because there is a hotbed of fans there demanding it. But what happened is, as they ignored Charlotte and Raleigh a little bit, the last house show in Raleigh did terrible attendance. And in that time, the indies kind of formed a presence here in a way that they hadn't in years past. We have some pretty awesome indie shows in the area. And so I think what you're seeing is fans aren't just showing up because of WWE in this area anymore. They've realized they got really good local wrestling, especially in Charlotte, especially in this area. And AEW kind of fills that need for them, especially if it's going to be a TV taping. So I think what you're seeing is WWE played to its key markets, right? They want to be the Hollywood shows. They want to be the Northern shows. Well, rightfully so. AEW understands that there's still a hotbed of wrestling in this area, and we're not going to ignore you just because you're the Dirty South. So I think it's what you're seeing there. Wrestling fans felt ignored by WWE. They've gravitated towards products that reflect the strong indie scene here.
Yeah, and, Samantha here saying people could still be nervous about big crowds, which I would agree, but AEW is doing as well, ticket sales-wise, as they were before. They picked up right where they left off. And it's interesting because I feel like in a lot of ways the business went into this like cryogenic chamber, right? Where for like 18 months, it just kind of froze, right? And everybody did their best to kind of keep their momentum. Before this pandemic, AEW was on an upward trajectory, and WWE creatively was already kind of starting to see the interest in the decline. I mean, even before the pandemic, a couple months before, they had cut way back on house shows. I think they were just doing TV tapings for like the 2-3 months before, the world shut down. I mean, you can't say that, that was the pandemic was affecting something when it didn't even exist yet, right? WWE's business was already in a place where they were cutting back on house shows. We're coming out of this cryogenic chamber, and guess what? AEW's right back to where they were. They're going to be trying to find some momentum heading up, and we're seeing where WWE really realistically left off, which at the end before the pandemic, which is they were on the decline. And, it's just wild, I guess, to see that after 18 months, we're exactly where we were before the pandemic,
Say what you will about, there's a creative process involved, but AEW is doing TV tapings, right? And I think one of the things, I love a good WWE house show. I think you're going to get a better experience than going to watch Raw or SmackDown if you go watch a WWE house show personally. But AEW is showing up with TV tapings, and that has a certain draw. And also, if you look at TV products, AEW's TV tapings feel a lot more like a traditional wrestling show than a WWE Raw or SmackDown. And the fans are responding to that. And you look at 9 of these shows being house shows. They're behind in markets where they're offering a house show versus AEW's TV taping. To your point about already positive momentum and traction that was happening before the pandemic, AEW's looking pretty shiny right now, and WWE feels very stale.
I want to toss up Gina Garofalo's or Dino Garofalo's comment here. WWE TV shows have become their house show circuits with repeat match after repeat match. Why would you pay to watch a match you have seen for 2 months straight on TV? Yeah, again, like just going back to the basic bare bones of like, how do you draw people into a building? AEW's product's more surprising. Something could happen. Mark Henry could walk out, right? I'm still not totally sold on the idea that Jungle Boy on a pre-tape might take this title just so that there's interest going into the. I mean, you of course you tuned in if you knew there was going to be Jungle Boy beating Kenny Omega, right?
How does it happen? How do they play this off, right? What does the celebration look like? Yeah, man, I would be that. There's a hook there. It's the Mick Foley situation all over again.
Yes, and I also, as we're talking about that, one more news item before we get to part one of Barry Horowitz, and we'll dive into the mailbag at the end for everybody. The Observer saying Kenny Omega, the current AEW, Impact, and AAA Mega Champion, is dealing with injuries. He's hurting pretty badly right now. And in addition to a stomach virus from this past week, Omega is also suffering from a deep bone bruise near his tailbone, an athletic hernia, and normal wear and tear on his knees. Omega also sliced up his hand and needed 7 stitches to close the wound while delivering a belt shot to Pac in the Double or Nothing main event on May 30th, which saw him retain the AEW World title over Pac and Orange Cassidy. The injury occurred on the 4th belt shot, as the AEW belt is especially sharp. Maybe worth thinking about, okay? It was noted that Omega has been in a lot of pain while getting through his recent top matches. He noted at the AEW Double or Nothing Fan Fest that there are days when he wakes up and walks around thinking that maybe it's close to the time where he should hang up his boots and retire because his body is feeling worse. He also noted that having real fans in the crowd makes him feel a lot better when he's performing. So Kenny Omega, this report is true, pretty beat up right now. You know,
he's wrestling all over the place, right? He's out there doing stuff on Impact. He's doing stuff on the Indies. He's doing stuff in AEW, and not just stuff. He's doing hardcore matches. He's doing long matches. He's doing really impressive spots. You mentioned the fans, right? Lots of wrestlers have said this during the pandemic. It's a lot harder to go out there and take these bumps over and over and over without the adrenaline rush from the fans. Like, these guys are putting themselves through it to keep this alive. And I'm sure Kenny Omega, more than about anybody with his spotlight, is feeling it. I think the comment about, is he looking to maybe start winding down his career? I think that's an interesting take, and I wonder where that could go, because Kenny Omega's always had this kind of wrestling style, right? He wrestled in Japan for years where strong style will beat the shit out of you, right? And so I'm curious, like, what does it look like? But this is his swan song. If that's what we're looking at here, this is an awesome way to go out with being the belt collector one last time.
I think it all kind of maybe flows at once, right? I don't know if it's Jungle Boy or if they wait to do it, you know, at a more marquee event. But again, in the back of my head, I don't know why. I'm just kind of like, it doesn't seem crazy to me to get this belt off of Kenny in a way where because you've had so many weeks now of just dwindle. How do you guarantee you get back up there to at least get your averages and your interest back before you move to Wednesdays? But obviously Omega retained over Moose, which helps some shenanigans from the Bucks or whatever. And Sami Callihan is now fired from Impact. Maybe he'll be in AEW. So, or maybe he takes the title and, you know, does the Summer of Callahan, takes the Impact title, goes somewhere else with it, right? Jungle Boy seems like a fair enough assumption or a choice if they were going to pick somebody right now to take the title off of him. There's maybe 1 or 2 other guys you could throw into that conversation as well. And then with AAA, he's got a match against Andrade coming up here. And Andrade is the face of AAA, the mega champion. Seems like, call me crazy, but that seems like an effing layup at the moment right now, as somebody to be a standard bearer down in AAA for you. So if you were to kind of have them all fall at once, I think that there's pieces moving right now that, you know, and take some time off, do whatever you, I mean, if the dude's this beat up, don't kill yourself. He's working main event match. He's working a main event style in every single match right now. And that's very, very hard on the body.
I'm just surprised we've not seen a clear exit path. You mentioned the Saturday Night Moose not being able to overcome and Kenny Omega retaining. Like, we've not the tea leaves haven't shown us where this Impact AEW partnership is going to end up, which I think is interesting. And at some point, we've got to pivot away from this, because Kenny Omega is not going to be the champion of every independent organization forever. Andrade could be great. Andrade is also in AEW, right? That feud carries over. Sure. I just kind of, maybe does Andrade cost Omega, the AEW championship or something like that. It's interesting where you can start playing with this now. But yeah, we've got to end up with this sooner or later for Kenny's sake. But also, we got to move forward with this. This has been fine, but I'm looking forward to what's next for AEW from kind of a big main event picture storyline.
Well, two things real quick, and then we'll jump to Barry Horowitz, and then we'll do the mailbag. I want to say that Daniel Price here, once Omega drops the AEW belt to Page, he'll drop the other belt. So he seems to think Adam Page could be the one to take the title off him. Not a bad guess there with Kenny Omega. But the other thing in the back of my head is I still think that Bullet Club Civil War is on the horizon. I think that the reason that you've been seeing kind of the elite / Bullet Club OGs kind of making this faction here is the way to kind of get something going and big that can do a through line is I think we're going to see GOD. I think we see Jay White. I think we see, a couple of the current Bullet Club guys come together, Evil, whoever, to war with these other people that are claiming to be Bullet Club. And if that is what is going to happen, and I've talked about this for a while, and I still think there's a very good chance that does happen. Kenny Omega is a player in a much more open. He's not having to push himself main event level match. He can do tag matches, 6-man matches. There's a lot more you could do in kind of a Civil War environment with the Kenny Omega that takes him out of the world title picture.
I love this storyline. I love this thread. And you layer on top of it the reports a month or so ago about, there's infighting between the VPs, and Cody Rhodes has been out there, right? Kind of independently, but you weave him back in as a former Bullet Club guy. This story tells itself. Cody Rhodes can't challenge for the AEW championship, but what if that comes back around in some key way in a Bullet Club feud and Cody Rhodes earns back the right with this? It could be a really awesome, compelling piece of a story.
All right. Well, that'll bring us to the mailbag. Thank you, Michael, for talking the news of the day with me up top. Thank you very much to Barry Horowitz. And again, that's only part one that you heard if you were listening to us in audio form. And again, we're about 20 minutes away. Well, 18 minutes now. Jump over after this to the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. We're going to premiere part one of my Barry Horowitz interview. Again, there is some profanity. If you have a certain vision of nice Barry Horowitz in your head, this may change your perspective. Not that he's not nice. He's a very nice man, but uses some language that is a little terse, and we get at it. We get going. The man has opinions. So go check that out. And thank you. Dino Garofalo here saying you deserve a pat on the back for interviewing Horowitz. Spoiler alert, we do it together on the video. So you can come see that too. All right, we are going to dive into the mailbag here in a second. Please continue with your comments. I know we got a lot of people here right now. We will read more of your comments to close the show up here in just a little bit. But today's poll question over at WInc Daily, WINC Daily over on Twitter, the account to follow, is based off of the following report. So Mandy Rose apparently or evidently not thrilled with Otis, her former on-screen beau, debuting a new look on this week's SmackDown. He debuted a new clean-shaven look during a singles match between his tag partner Chad Gable and Montez Ford. After attacking Angelo Dawkins in the backstage area, Otis hit the ring to take out Ford, and while it is not confirmed, it does appear as if the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy is going to take place at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and Mandy shared a sad face emoji in response to Otis's new look. Over on Twitter, I asked you, what do you think of Otis's new shave look? Do you love it, like it, do not like it, or hate it? This is far closer than I expected. 16.7, love it. 21.2, like it. 27.6, do not like it. And 34.6% of people hate it. That brings the total about a little over 60% for people that don't like it. But 60-40, that's pretty close, man.
I'm surprised. I am totally surprised by that. His new look is like, I don't know. He looks like he's like the enforcer for a mob guy, right? Like the slick back hair, the clean shaven face, right? Yeah, you don't do it. You've got Otis in the back. He's going to take care of you,
He looks like Chris Farley to me now. Like he already was very Farley-esque,
Sure.
but the baby face, the cherub look, very Farley-esque. Also, can we just take a step back here? Two things. The reason I made this the poll question, Michael, is because this did like second highest traffic of the entire week. We had TakeOver, we had Braun Strowman, we had Aleister Black, Braun Strowman rumors, and then we had this. And I'm not kidding. I almost made this the leadoff story just to get it out. Just to get it out of the way. I just like, you people, you're obsessed with what Mandy thinks of Otis's new look, and so I made it the poll question so we could put it in the mailbag and we could lead off with stuff that is not this, but I feel bad like objectifying Otis's look. Otis, look however you want, man. I don't even like this poll. I put it out there. It got a bunch of votes. We're going to talk more about it, but I don't feel in my soul this poll question like I normally do. I feel bad having run it.
Listen, people they respond to things like this because they're always asking themselves, do I have a chance with Mandy Rose? And so I'm going to look at the way he looks now and compare myself against that, right? Like there's some kind of validation in that. So if I feel like I look better than Otis, well, then I got a shot with Mandy.
Sophie, by the way, asking here, how do I get Tom Phillips on the show? I've reached out, haven't heard back. And also Jonas said he doesn't look anything like Phillips. I don't know if that's me or Otis, but whatever.
He doesn't, to be fair. It's
Charles Williams, longtime listener, first time on the live. Yay, mama, I made it. Welcome to the show, Charles. Let's see here. Samantha, hate it. The clean-shaved Otis is not Otis. Let him be. Let him be. Maybe he wanted to do it. You know?
I agree with Charles Williams here in the chat. Otis looks like Curly from the Three Stooges with the ponytail. Kind of does.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Otis. Yeah, he does. Totally. And I don't know about you because, I grow a beard very quickly. You have a beard, right? You've got facial hair. I grow a beard I shave and a week later. I mean, this is like I think I shaved 5-6 days ago and it's already at this. When I do shave, you and others have told me you don't like how I look without my beard.
I'm used to it, man. I don't like seeing your face because I'm used to the beard, right? No offense. Your face is fine.
And it's a lot of people. And when I do shave, sometimes I'll come out and Liz is kind of oh, right? It is. Look, beards are great, but it's the summer. It's hot.
Yeah.
There's sweat in there. It's just, there's a lot. It's there. It gets too long in the mustache. I start to eat little bits of the end of my mustache. Mm-hmm. It's not all roses.
They're a lot to keep up with. Now, I do not grow a beard quite as eloquently as you do. It takes me, I had to have a pandemic to force me to be I'm not seeing people for 2 months and I can scraggle this thing out here. But I'm not going to shave it now because it took too damn long. I get food in my beard and my mustache. I got to trim it. I got to, whatever. Good for him for shaving it. He got a tiny chin. Don't judge the man. We all have tiny chins, right?
We also have here from Casslers is my idol. First time on the stream Pog. Cool. We are the Stream Pog.
I love Pogs. I still have my collection of Pogs from 95.
Why? Where's Raj? We should tell Raj to get some wrestling Pogs up in here. That's the merchandising channel that we haven't, that nobody's going in right now.
But did you know you could play a game with the Pogs? Aren't just for collectibles, y'all. There was actually a Pog game.
You use a slammer, you stack them up, you slam it down, and whichever ones fall off, you get to keep.
Are they rare now, like Pokemon cards? Are people storming targets for Pogs? Yes.
Some of them. I saw Logan Paul, by the way, came to that ring for that Mayweather fight with a $300,000 hologram Charizard card around his neck. Did you see that?
Yes. He said that was his good luck token.
What a
He's had it for years, I guess. And it's, I guess you have enough money that you don't have to worry about the $300,000 around your neck, right? It can be
Man, I was impressed, man, to go, 8 rounds with Mayweather? Dude, that's impressive.
If you really like hugging a lot, then good for you.
Yeah, whatever, man. I don't think I can spend 7-8 seconds in the ring with Mayweather. He'd throw one punch. I'm I'm out. He almost got me, guys. If he actually hits me, I think I'm gonna get knocked out or something. You guys know that, right? So,
for that payday, I'll go 7 hours with Mayweather.
Sophie said, I met your guy who is your co-host, looks like Tom Phillips, and a little bit of Michael Cole. So that's a comment about you.
Oh, thank you. I will take that as a compliment because they're both good-looking gentlemen.
All right, last one here. I'm going to read from Joseph Venditti. Otis was on the past weekend episode of Talking Smack, and his promo style was different as he was talking, low-key and whispering, kind of interesting. And yeah, just mean, angry heel Otis. Are you a fan? Do you like this?
I want to see more of it. I think it could be interesting. I think his previous gimmick was way overplayed. And if it takes a clean-shaven look, it takes the slick back hair, it takes this. Maybe we got something here because this guy, he can go, he can move, he's got a presence. Give him the character and let him rip and see what he can do. I'm interested.
All right. Well, that'll bring us that's it, everybody. We're wrapping up here today. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be joined by Second City Chicago's EJ Cameron. We'll be talking more news of the day. mystery interview. It'll either be Horowitz Part 2 or one of the interviews I'm doing this afternoon. There are multiple, so we'll find out what goes down. And if you like this show, obviously support WrestlingInc.com. We're on all your favorite social media channels, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, weekends after pay-per-views. We go live here and all the social media platforms with the Wrestling Inc. podcast. You can subscribe to that RSS feed as well. Michael, what do you want to plug, promote, put over here to wrap up the show today?
I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy seeing your comments. So I'd love to keep this going on Twitter. I am at The Real Wiseman. And otherwise, y'all have a happy Monday, man. Not every Monday's easy. So I hope y'all are having a good one.
2 weeks ago, I was in Jacksonville. And then a week ago, I was doing Warrior Wrestling. This past weekend, Sunday night, was TakeOver. I had to stay up and do the media call. I think this weekend will be the first non-wrestling active weekend I've had in a while. So I'm weirdly excited, but I really enjoyed getting back into it again. The business is growing. It's rewarming up right now. It's wonderful to see. But yeah, man, this weekend, let's all just go out and have some fun, right? Let your hair down. GCW's got their Outlaw Mud show. Maybe take that in if you need some wrestling, but enjoy the week. Relax.
Dude, man, I got to tell you, man, I was going to tell you off the air, but next Monday I won't be here in the podcast seat. Next Sunday night, I am going to Foo Fighters, Madison Square Garden, fully vaxxed concert. First time they've played in over a year. So doing a little road trip to New York next weekend.
Wait, is that the first one back?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What? How did
Brian Fritz and I got in the queue very early on last Tuesday, and we are road tripping to New York this weekend.
That's the first full capacity show at MSG since the pandemic, right?
Yep. First time I've been to MSG since the Supercard of Honor, if you are the in New Japan Ring of Honor Supercard a couple years ago. So,
man, dude,
I won't be here next Monday. I'm sorry, y'all. I have prior commitments.
That is awesome, dude. I am so jealous of that. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right.
So
well,
I'm not doing wrestling, but I'm doing concert stuff. It's going to be awesome.
I will be here next Monday after I take a couple days to just hang with my dog and my girlfriend and do whatever. So, all right. Anyway, I'm at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked,